Hey, we are tWoTcast Patreon episode 25? 26?
38.
What episode is it for real?
I don't know, 25, 26?
All right, everyone shut the f*** up.
Wheel of Time. Reread podcast. Explicit and R freaking rated. Jono's the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man, he's a total dick. Tom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast!
Hey, you're viewing and or listening to tWoTcast, Wheel of Time Reread podcast, and this is a special Patreon episode where we discuss mostly show stuff, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
What show?
With me, as always, is Jono!
Jono!
And I'm Joe, and Tom is always here for Patreons.
Studier man. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get Taffy to rewrite the theme song to saying that I call him when I'm not too busy. I call him literally anytime we're talking about Wheel of Time and not Patrick Robinson's
Tom only calls him when we're talking about the Wheel of Time, but nothing else at all.
Books here.
Real quick.
Or
Bullshit.
Brandon Saracen's lifeless fucking
You mean
books.
Suzanne and Saranderson?
Yeah.
Tom, you missed
So
episode.
boring. Oh, I mean, once in a while you have to miss it because you miss it.
I'll
But I
never
mean-
forget because Joe and I had this conversation. I'm going to talk over you, Tom, because literally we had to because you weren't there. Joe and I had this conversation that was, if we don't do this episode together, we don't think this show will get off the ground.
Yeah,
And-
we did one, and then Tom was like, the very next week, he's like, I'm out. And
No.
we're just like, listen, we better do...
Tom was sick. He had chlamydia.
I was literally in the next room.
Yeah, I know. And you still didn't walk over because we're literally one room over.
No, I'm not going to do a podcast sick and sober. That's ridiculous. I'm only doing it
Get drunk.
drunk and healthy. Well, healthy.
Yeah.
Let's get real.
You missing episode 2 is probably one of my favorite things ever, though.
Jesus.
Hey, guess when
But
that was? 11 years ago.
But I have no interest. I have no interest in ever covering anything else like Sanderson or Robin's fantasy wise. Exhausting. Cape?
Too bad.
Yes.
We're doing it next week.
Well,
I
after
can't
the
wait till-
companion,
I
we're going to
can't-
watch Lost.
I can't wait to. Oh my god, I'm in. I'm all the way in. Can we do? Wait, I don't want to do Cape before we or Lost before we re-Cape.
We gotta do Kid now.
We should do a
Hell.
recape for Patrons.
I would like to re-Cape at like because the first time around you guys had never seen it before, so I'd like to re-Cape. No, just re-Cape.
The recap episodes.
Yeah.
That's
I would,
We're gonna-
I mean,
We're gonna recap the re-Cape.
you know how we were doing, like, we would, like, for instance, if we do Shadow Rising soon. Shadow's mind's blown. We would do, like, I would listen to the old episodes so I could, one part, to make sure we didn't, like, repeat ourselves like idiots, but two, to, like, kind of be like, oh, yeah, we said this a long time ago. What do you think about that now? Or what, you know, like, kind of, like, future commentary on the old episodes. But I guess I would have to do that for the Cape, too.
If we recap recape, like if you go back and listen to it, you'll just listen to the 10 episodes where we talk about the Cape, and you'll realize it's the greatest work we've ever done. And
It might be.
it's not even close. It's perfect.
I mean, study your math comes from that. I mean, like how much better can you get?
I once in a while realized that I didn't start saying
That's not
similar
our
math
best
until we were
work.
like 150 episodes in, which makes no sense.
like this whole show should have been canceled by ourselves or by other people 300 episodes ago.
Oh,
Like,
we'll be
this-
canceled.
Absolutely, sure. For sure. 100%
Let's
agree.
fix the show because Tom's gonna go have sex with his own hand. And
Yeah,
that's
let's
let me
cover the one little thing we wanted to talk about.
let me pull up the topic that we
Is it my
wanted to
penis?
discuss.
that one little thing.
Yeah, the one little thing that we want to discuss. I guess I'll just read this article.
Yeah,
Oh,
just say
guess
it out
what?
loud.
I'm having another, my third. Calvados.
Patreon viewers, we're here to give them extra fun stuff. It doesn't have to be polished.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's borderline behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
I mean, it absolutely
Oh,
is. Yeah, for sure.
I think I say this every time we do this. So I'm just like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
you
have
absolutely
to look good.
The Wheel of Time is changing things up a bit for season 2. Oh, this article is on Giant Freaking Robot. Wheel of Time season 2 is changing its episodes. That's the title, which is currently in production. The Amazon Prime Video series premiered to good notices and enough viewing numbers to be renewed for another 2 seasons.
Joe is
Sneeze in the middle.
That's what you pay for.
Real fast as you just sneeze all over your keyboard is very.
At least I covered my nose. How dare you, Jono? At least I muted it, so no one heard it. We're just discussing my sneezes. And according to showrunner Rafe Judkins, episodes are about to get longer. Judkins responded to a fan question via Twitter, and although The Wheel of Time season 2 will have the same number of episodes as the first 8, episodes will apparently have more runtime. This question was actually, it was obviously from the Q&A that we covered in last week's actual tWoTcast episode. We did rush through that Q&A really fast, though. So, there was a lot to unpack for some of them, and this is one worth talking about, I think, in a little more detail.
All right, so first, I have a question for you guys. Do you think that means more more story content or
more
lazier
content?
editing?
Well, I hope the former.
You know what I mean? All right, so the first season, episode 5, where we're like, I don't care for this, and I wish they had more time to tell the story. Do you think they would have just told the same story but longer? Or are we getting more of the book?
I don't know. I think it's going to be more of the book.
I fucking hate.
I'm hopeful, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I fucking hate it because I found this article and I got a semi, and I was like, "Holy shit! Look at this!" Right? And my first thought was it means that we get more story, right? That we get more, because I feel like one of the things the show could have done was been more about the books and been more about what the content we wanted. Less warders slapping their own chest after a death, and more warders that actually did stuff like land.
Yeah, water emotion.
Yeah,
as they're famous for.
Yeah, fuck me. But anyway, so I was just emboldened and just excited by the idea of holy shit, guys, look at this, guys. Tom, you just
check it out.
Does it mean more of just unfettered insanity? And I hadn't even thought of that. Which I guess
if the episodes in season 1 would have been longer, we wouldn't have gotten Camlin. We would have got another hour and a half of Tar Valon, which they never went to in the first place.
But I don't know if that's true though, right? I don't.
They can afford to go to Camlin,
right? Camlin, by the way,
they could afford to go to Tar Valon.
Well, so the article goes on to let me read it. Let me finish reading. Blah, 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 blah. First season had episodes that generally push the hour mark. This presumably means that season 2 episodes will be breaking that, although it is not clear by exactly how much. The shift in television program from traditional airing to streaming has altered exactly how long standard episodes for TV are. One model of the Wheel of Time season 2 episodes could be the recent 4th season of Netflix's mammoth hit Stranger Things. Episodes of that show frequently went over an hour, with the 9th episode landing with a staggering 2.5 hours, basically. So, the idea of that, so let me ask you, not based on, what the content might be like, but more of, would that be cooler to have, slightly longer episodes, but with, an episode 8 being, almost a movie, to be, the season finale?
If it's
I think that would be awesome.
Yes. But I don't know if it's going to be jam-packed. Or if they're just going to make less cuts.
Well, quick question for you, Tom, and Joe. Just give me a second here. Do you know the difference between jam and marmalade packed?
I'm not even gonna. I got nothing. So the finale of Stranger Things, I'm assuming
I can't marmalade my dick.
They wrote it to be 2.5 hours long, roughly.
Okay.
So again, I'm concerned. Like they wrote the finale of season 2 to be
The reason I'm
hopeful, and they're like,
hopeful
well, let's
is
include
one
it
of the
all.
other tweets that he said, which was basically that season 3 was going to be book 4.
Yeah.
And that season 2 was going to be like books 2 and 3 and like a little bit of 1 and like some of 3 and like mostly 2, you know, like kind of thing. And they're trying to catch the show up to like be closer to the books.
Yeah, as I've said,
but
I hate
and
it.
I feel like an extra long episode might mean that we actually get more of the book. Like I think it seems like they're planning on making it longer to fit more of the book in and to like course correct. So like, and it is a hope. I don't know, obviously, but like, you know, but I am hopeful that that's what that means based on the other little clues we've gotten.
I keep thinking, like, when Rafe is like, or in general, when they're like, oh, season 2 will be roughly books 2 and 3. I don't have a problem with that. 8 episodes, even an hour long. If you told me that they were going to make a Great Hunt movie and a Dragon Reborn movie, and each was going to be 4 hours long, sold. Like,
yeah, you'd be like, great, perfect.
You should be capable of fitting everything in the book into that, for the most part.
And especially if the last episode is like an extra long one, you know, or so something.
Take episodes
not that they have plans to do that.
Take episodes 1 and 2 and fix all of your fuck ups, and then do just 3-hour movies of book 2 and 3.
It sounds like I mean, I would assume that the episodes on as a whole aren't going to go too far over an hour. Maybe like an hour and 10, an hour and 15 or something
69
like that.
minutes, maybe.
What if?
Perhaps 69 minutes. You know?
What if they've allocated...
I made it. I was
What if they've allocated...
But it seems to me like the last episode might, or maybe the last 2 episodes, like the penultimate and the ultimate episode, might be like more like an hour and a half and then closer to 2 hours, just to like be like this.
They better be fucking good, because the finale of season 1 was fucking.
Yeah, but if they had more time, maybe it would have been better. You know what I mean? Like they would have been able to like.
You think even that you think if episode 8 of season 1 had been longer, it would have been better. It would have been They would have more time to make it worse. The story choices
they would have had more time to at least explain why the characters were in such despairingly different.
I'm with Joe. I'm with Joe optimistically. Although, you know, maybe if we got
optimistically,
if we saw the
but there was one scene where Perrin literally ran around in a circle, ran back to where he was, and was like, "Oh, Padden Fane's killing Loyal," and I was like, "But if he had had like 10 more minutes to tell that part of the story, maybe there would have been some action sequence. He could have been fighting somebody like some Myrddraal or Trollocs and Faldara. It would have been like more of a thing. He would have been searching for a little while, and then circled back to like."
Yeah, I would have loved 10 more minutes of the Knave and a Queen, like using the power in a circle and destroying a Trolloc army. That would have been rad.
Well,
I mean, if you're gonna fuck it up, I don't need to watch you fuck it up longer. So that, I guess.
No, I mean, look. No, I mean, here's the thing: is I just said, as they say in English. You're both right? I mean, like, if you're gonna fuck it up, please fuck it up quickly and just badly. Maybe not badly, but you are doing it. Is probably part of the problem. But if you've got retrievable stuff in there, if you're confined by your timeliness, and therefore like a little bit more time gives it air to breathe, then please get there. And I would like to think like everything that Rafe has put out there seems to be, I'll be honest, a little bit overly proud of the work he's put out there. Like there hasn't been any, like there hasn't been too much like hey, we could have done better.
Some of that's politics, TV politics.
But hold on, like I want to say though that he's aware of the negative flack, right? I want to say that he's aware of the fact that there's a lot of negativity, especially from book readers.
I think it sounded like, to me, what Rafe's Q&A, the overall tone of it felt like to me was somebody that wanted to do something else with season 1 and was sort of like producer wise, like Sony and or Amazon wise, was like forced to do a certain thing, and he tried to cram as much in as he wanted.
It's like sex.
From the books, and then like it seems like now that it seems like in season 2 and future season 3 he has more freedom, and he's trying to say, like, without saying it out loud, like, I have more freedom to make this like the books now, you know. It seems like he's sort of saying that without saying it out loud to like avoid going like, I hated what they made me do in season 1 too, you know, kind of thing. Like that's what it sounds like to me.
You think Amazon made him do those things?
I think there was a lot of marketing and like
Ooh,
notes and production like coming down on him going like, this is the direction you need to take the show to make it a mass audience show.
Jono wants to say something, obviously.
I have, so I have 3 points, 2 of which are relevant to what you're saying, and third of which is maybe aspirational. One, we'll never fucking know, and I'm sure that this shit's insane. Secondly, I do feel like he's a real fan, and sometimes you're stymied by reality.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But third, wait a minute. What did Robert Jordan do? He, unfortunately, his first book, The Eye of the World, was kind of built as a, one-off, followed by, well, I actually wanted it to be a trilogy, followed by, I actually wanted it to be a 30-book series in which I...
Right, yeah.
So maybe Rafe Judkins is his vessel, and is here for the first 11 books, or seasons.
It's not going to be 11 seasons. Get here.
It's 11 seasons. And
nine maximum.
I think it's probably going to be 9, maybe 10.
You think it's called season 9?
If it goes the whole time.
Yeah. Brandland 99 is what it's called.
I can't see more than 9 doing the math. Holy shit. Look,
We've been talking about this for a long time, boys.
Look, I'm sorry. Like, I think he's bad at his job. I think he's done a bad job.
Yeah, he hasn't done it.
I think there's a lot of like, we need to keep the Dragon Reborn a mystery. We need to make it open to the fact that it's not just Ranmat and Perrin, but it could also be Nynaeve and Egwene. We need to make a star be the star of the show, and that needs to be Moraine. So let's cast her, and she needs to be important, and that's gonna,
Well,
so
disagree.
Disagree. Again, yes, but no.
I don't agree with any of it.
Like, fuck it. That's not
need to do that. It's trash.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm saying Rafe Judkins feels the way you guys feel, and those are like things cast down upon him that he had to like.
I don't think that's true based on so many quotes that I've seen. Not 1 or 2 here or there, like doing lip service.
All right, maybe I just have a little bit more faith.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with the acting. I don't have a problem with the set, the FX. I don't have a problem with the writing. When the writers are given direction, any given episode, I think they're brilliantly written. I think the show is poorly showrun. I think the character choices and the story choices are shit.
Who do you think's
and that comes back to only one person. I think they're fucking terrible. And I also think if you're an inexperienced showrunner that's barely had any credits to your name and you just worked on S.H.I.E.L.D.
Tom, he was on Survivor.
Then you're going to get bullied, maybe, by the company. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but like I think as a showrunner, he's fucking shit the bed in the most amazing ways humanly possible. I'm glad Amazon's making this show and it still exists. I would love to see him replaced by literally anybody else.
I'll be honest. I don't know if you guys...
I think he's done a shit job.
I can't...
Made horrible choices, and things are sideways.
I've got a problem.
You don't cast Rosamund Pike without giving her a lot of scenes and stories that never existed in the books. Don't cast Rosamund Pike then, motherfucker.
I mean, you need an anchor to the show. You just can't have a bunch of no-name.
You could have cast
kids running around.
All right, so before the show started, when Rosamund Pike got cast, I was like, that makes perfect sense, because why would a big name actress sign on to the show unless you can convince her, like, oh, just come on, start us off, then you kind of get to go off to the side. It's not going to take up too much of your schedule. You can keep doing other movies and
other things, and then eventually, if we do need you, we'll bring you back for like the last.
But instead, it's just like, no, we just want to use her all the time. Like, you're basing story decisions off your casting. Are you
my
fucking kidding me?
My issues weren't with
Story
Moraine,
decisions
really.
off.
My issues were with the two like Aes
insane.
Sedai Warder episodes that they just jammed in the middle there, where it
that's it.
didn't need to be there.
Those and Swan like didn't need to be there. Didn't make any sense. He just keeps trying to give excuses like we didn't have enough time to tell. You had all the time in the world. If you or any other director or showrunner in the world, you give them 8 hours to tell. I mean, Peter Jackson did the Lord of the Rings Fellowship in 3.5 hours in an extended cut.
Yeah,
covered most of it. Kind of nailed it. Most people were happy. I don't know.
He covered the entire Lord of the Rings book, which is much smaller than a Wheel of Time book, to be fair, in 9 hours.
You've got to be kidding me. Is that... No. All right, come on. 8 hours to tell any director. 8 hours.
Well, look,
the eye of the world.
It's
a lot of time.
I think Peter Jackson did an amazing job with those books. There's no fucking doubt. And honestly, he did a great job with the first 3. Not so much with The Hobbit in my mind. I wish we could have had Tom Bombadil. We could have had some other things, but that's not the point. Like, the greater point is 100%. I will tell you this, and I don't know how far, Joe, feel free to stop me, but when I read, there was a YouTube thing, a description of behind the scenes that displayed all the actors here, and we're not even going to get into Rafe, but it's Daniel Hannay, Criminal Minds. Everyone loves Criminal Minds. If you're into that type of shit, you're into it. Zoe Robbins, Power Rangers, Madeline Madden, Doran and the Lost City, Josh Stradkowski, something called Just Friends.
Yosha, but yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Rutherford, Obey. Like the thing, and then we get to Rafe Judkins, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hemlock Grove, Lan Mondragoran of Red Eagle, Ted Field of Radar Pictures with Jumanji, and Winter Dragon, Darren Lynch, Shazam, Goosebumps, Winter Dragon, Marigo Kohai, executive producer, Rosamund Pike, fuck yeah, Rosamund Pike is an all-star.
Yeah, for sure.
And Sanderson, like, awesome. But like when we look at those actors, like I have nothing against the actors themselves at all. They're fucking.
Well, they're
great.
young, Jono.
I think they've all done great.
They've all outdone themselves. But then you come back to certain pieces of like little hierarchy above them, and you start going.
Are you looking at Red Eagle? Is that what you're saying right now?
No, not specifically. No, I just don't think that this is a group that's like really kind of like. These are some actors who are doing incredible fucking jobs. Like, they really are.
All doing. I haven't seen a bad acting performance.
Not at all.
Show.
But I mean, like, to a certain extent, though, actors start taking on
the writing is good.
Acting, and this is something that like this is like their first kind of like this is a big picture thing, right? Like they don't know the fucking books.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and like the overall tone of it is that. Like, there's not a lot of experience and there's not a lot of credits that point to
fame, exactly.
Well done things, especially on Rafe Judkins' end of thing. I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't know. And also, I don't know how much of
it's not great.
I
love that show in like a campy way. But.
Yeah, and so I guess what I'm saying, I'm still hopeful that season 2 will right the ship, so to speak, and head in the right direction. And if they do that, and that's a big if, but if they do that, then I'm even more hopeful for season 3, which seems like it's going to like get back on the rails 100% almost. From what
I want to eat my words.
Yeah.
Raise your ass.
I think I'm just like I'm on the more positive. I feel the same way as you guys. I guess what I'm trying to say, but I am on the more positive end of the spectrum, where I'm like a little more forgiving in terms of like what happened in the first season. In terms of Rafe Judkins' like judgment, and then like I'm also like a little more forgiving and like in terms of hope for the second season. And from what I've seen and heard, it seems like second season might give us that. Maybe.
I hope.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
The comment like we couldn't afford to send them to Camlin because we built Tar Valon, and I'm like, but why did you build Tar Valon?
Yeah. The comments are more naive almost than the acting. Like the acting is brilliantly young.
Some of the answers to the Twitter questions were I'm just constantly just like, these are making me angrier instead of assuaging like my concerns. Like you show bad judgment and then you double down on it publicly. Like that's very concerning.
But no,
so,
I mean,
like that's my biggest problem. Like anytime the show bothers me, and then I look online and I see a comment from somebody involved in the show, I'm like, this makes it worse. Make it better. Like they just right. They made me do it, and I would be like, oh, okay. But instead, it's just like, yeah, this is my choice, and this is why I thought it was a good idea. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. That's the politics of TV, man. He has to say that. He has to go like,
does he?
Yes.
But all right,
if he wants to keep his job, yes, he does.
All right, but then if that's the politics of TV,
he has to go like, that was a good decision, and I stand by it. I don't.
But if that's the politics
really,
of TV, and that's the way the show is being made, then I'm not interested in the show. Again, like that doesn't work for me.
I will watch.
I don't know, man.
All the excuses don't work for me.
I will watch the show until it dies, unironically.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
I'm like you said, Tom. I'm very excited for season 2 because I want to see what happens. I don't know what COVID restrictions did. I don't know what the issues with the original Matt Cawthon actor, with Barney did. I don't know what they forced in or were forced into that changed things. I don't. My honest opinion is probably not nearly as much as they're going to hide behind. But
for sure, yeah.
If season 2 is better than season 1, I'm fucking delighted because I feel like there's
pretty low bar.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement, but it's the fact is that it existed. I do still feel that that's where the bar is. It existed. I'm fucking excited.
I used to have that, and it went away from me.
Well, they slammed it down. It's like I was going to make a bad sex joke about slamming down, but Tom's going to go to bed and get slammed down. But like, it's very frustrating. The fact is that we're sitting here talking about this in this kind of like level. Yeah. It is probably par for the course. That explains enough of it. But
look, here's my point. If I could go back in time and do two things, the first thing I would do is stop the show from being made. The second thing I would do is kill it. I'm not glad it was made. I'm sad it was made.
Oh,
I hope they can turn me around.
And maybe turn you loose?
Turn me loose. Hey, how are they released? Do you know how they're releasing those Origins next month?
I'm not sure.
This month, I guess.
We should watch
it. Yeah.
We should watch those and record them for Patreons. Our good friends.
I really enjoy
that's
the
what
animation.
We'll do. I think we should do. Let's do Origin number 1 next week for Patreon. All right. Well, that's tWoTcast for this Patreon. There's no comments on these. I don't need to say this next part.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna start putting the Patreons out on Patreon first, and then eventually onto YouTube. So I think eventually you might see this on YouTube, and if that's true, if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. And in theory, we'll get better at responding to them. tWoTcast theme song is brought to you by the one and the only Taffy Bennington and Andrew Bard of Time. Links to their stuff is below, of course, as always. Join us next Patreon episode. Exclusive content for maybe some Origin stuff.
Yeah, if you want this hot negativity delivered right to your inbox.
I was hopeful. I was hopefully optimistic, Tom.
I'm middle. I think I don't know. Why not?
I think we offer a very interesting wide spectrum of where we all feel about the show.
I'm going to walk into season 2 like very open-minded.
Hey, okay. Tom, 45 seconds. Go. What do you want? Like, what are your thoughts? You get 45 seconds, and then we hang up because patrons don't want to listen to you.
I want a 2.5-hour foam.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. It's Tom's point.
From season 2, I really just want them to recalibrate and get the characters and the story back to where it should be. Maybe don't have Warders be pussies. Have Aes Sedai be what they're supposed to be, and get some of the characters to actually be the characters that I read about in the books. Don't just take their name and then write a story that doesn't make any goddamn sense for them. That would be cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Joe, your turn.
Tom echoed my exact thoughts, but like I said, if it does turn into a season finale that is close to a movie length, I would love
this is
like a Falm, like a proper Shan Falm battle in the sky, Rand Ishmael, like the whole shebang. Like, but if it's gonna be book 3, am I assuming we're gonna be in Tyr, in the Stone of Tyr at the end?
I just made a movie. I call it Batman, and it's about a guy that digs for gold in Dahlonega. His best friend is a guy named
4
Alfred.
is Falm, and episode 8 is the Stone of Tyr.
Fucking outrageous. They're just they're using the names and not anything else.
That's not true. There was
what's your hopes and dreams for season 2?
It to be better. I'm not going to waste time. You guys already talked over all of it. You fucking piece of shit. That's my job. My job is to talk over you guys because I'm drunk and forget things. But you guys already talked over yourselves too much. Good night, Captain.
Sorry. All right. Well, I'm Joe. Say good night, Jono.
Good night, Jono.
And Tom.
Study your math.
Fucking love you guys.
Change. You filthy animals. Thank you for your patronage. All you patrons.
Protonage.
Oh, the patronage.
I was.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Jono. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast code.